like a peasant tip. There ain't no love like an old man. Got to make it when the sun is shining. Can't waste time when it comes time to dance.
Okay, here are the answers to the mental math. Here we add double negative makes it a positive. So we've got negative 75, positive 50 makes a negative 25. Multiply 1.5 times 1.5 is almost like 15 times 15. So remember, we're going to try and memorize those perfect squares. So 15 times 15 is 225. But we have two numbers behind a decimal, so here we do 2. Times 10 to the negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. All right, this we subtract 2 from both sides, so we get 48 equals 3m. Now, 48 times 3m, or 3m times 3 times something is 48. It's a good thing too to learn your 16s, because that's going to get used a lot. So it is 16 times 3 is 48. All right, this one is a lot like yesterday's problem or last week. 6 times 3 1/3, you do 6 times 3 plus 6 times 1/3. So what we get is 18 plus 3. Sorry, 18 plus 2 is 20. Okay, now we got 0.3 m to, or meters to centimeters, so that decimal moves over 2 times. So we get 30 centimeters. 6 is 10% of something, okay? Well, that one's easier because 6 is 10% of something. What we actually do is multiply it by 10, because 1/10 is 6, so 10/10 is 60. A couple ways you can look at that. At $8 per hour, how much can Nate earn working 4.5 hours? Well, if he works 4 hours, he makes $32. And then a half hour, he makes $4. So 32 plus 4 is 36. And there are the answers to your
Keeping in touch with the windows down. Glad this night's the rain hit the ground. Oh, long live the heart, long live the soul that knows what you want.
Next, we jump into the lesson. We've got increase and decrease. Okay, and the book, next year we'll do it a little differently, but the book wants us to use charts this time. Okay, and when we do a chart, we make one up by saying percent and actual. Again, you've seen that before. Okay, I haven't even read the question out loud yet, but I just know we're doing percents. So I thought we would get set up first before we read it. Okay. We need 2 by 3, okay? So what we used to do is part, and whole, where these two added up to the whole. Now we are talking about percent increase and percent decrease. Just to remember, increase, the word increase means add, bigger, right? Decrease means it went down, so that's a minus, okay? So when we're doing these, we've got the county's population increased 15% from 1980 to 1990. We have an increase. If the population in 1980 was 120,000, what was the population in 1990? So what we do here is we talk about original. Okay, sorry, original, can't see my eye there. And then change. Now it was an increase, so we're going to say adding the change, so it changes for the bigger, and then what's the new amount. Okay, so here's our box, and we're going to figure out what goes in there. The county's population increased 15%, so right there we know it went increased 15%. Okay. And we always start out for the original is 100%. It starts out just 100%, and then it increased 15%. So the new is we add those 115%. Okay. I put percent just to give you a visual. You don't need to write percent in there. And now we look at Okay, so 1980 is the original, 1990 is the new. Okay, so the population in 1980 was actually 120,000. Okay, and they call this, we could just put C in for change, how much it grew. That's going to be an actual number. And it wants to know what the actual is, or the new number amount in 1990. So that's how we fill out our chart. And now we're looking for what is the population in 1990. So we're actually looking for this box right there. So we can set up a ratio, this to this, this to this, or this to this, this to this. So let's do 100 over 115 equals 120,000 over the new. Okay, so now we can either reduce before we find our cross product or wait to do so. I say let's reduce this thing. Okay, I know that, well, we know that 5 goes into each of these. 5 goes into 100 20 times, and if it goes into 120 20 times and 15 3 times, then it goes in there 23 times. So we have 20 over 23 equals 120,000 over n. So now we can do cross product. 20n equals 120,000 times 23. Okay? And now to get n by itself, we're going to divide both sides by 20. If you hear any growly noises or weird noises next to me, I'll just show you why. I have someone watching with us, okay? So it's not me that's groaning or moaning, just so you know, okay? And now we are going to reduce, so I'm going to cross out a 0 on each one. And now I have n equals 120, well, that'd be 12,000 divided by 2, which is just getting very distracting here. I have kids around. All right, so you might get to this point and get a little frustrated, like, I have to do 6,000 times 23? Well, yeah, you do, but let's just do 6 times 23 and then add 3 zeros. So go off to the side and do that math. We get 138, and then we're going to add 3 zeros. Now, that seems huge, but then you go back to the real problem and you're thinking, well, you should think, well, it was at 120 and it grew, so we should have a big number there. And the way they answered it would say it was the population in 1990. Okay. All right, let's try this, or you can even try this one on your own.
Yeah.
Same thing. We are reducing, so now we're going down 30%. The price was reduced, 30%. If the sale price was $24.50, so that's the new price. The sale price is the new price, not the original price. And they even help us with that because it says what was the original price. So we go ahead and say percent actual. Give ourselves 3 rows. Okay. And we've got original. I would maybe write just O minus the change equals the new. Okay. Well, the change was 30%. And it started out at 100%. That's original is always going to be 100%. So if it goes down, it's going to be 70%. Okay, and the sale price is the new price. So we're going to write $24.50 in there. Okay, and they want to know what the original price is, so we're looking for this, right? So we can do 100 over 70 equals, we call that retail, the original price. So that's why they used R. You can use whatever letter you want. $24.50. Okay. So I'm actually not going to reduce this because I want to multiply this by 100. I kind of want to do the cross product because I'm looking ahead and seeing what that does is gives us, well, I take that back, but let's do it the other way around in case you're not sure or you forget to reduce ever. You can see that it's allowed to do it this way. Okay, when we multiply by 100, what happens is that decimal moves all the way over. Okay, now we're going to divide both sides by 70. So yeah, R equals, let's divide those out, and then I'm just going to do 245 divided by 7, and it looks like we get 35. Okay, so the retail was 35. So, but we're talking about money. So the retail, the original price was $35, and then it went down 30%, and now it's $24.50. So kind of always reread, make sure that that is appropriate, makes sense. Okay. There's one more example, and we're going to look at that. A merchant bought an item at wholesale. Okay, so you might not know what wholesale means. Wholesale means how much, if I went to, okay, well, let's do this. My family runs a store in our backyard and sells stuff, okay? We have to buy, like we sell candy bars, but we first have to buy candy bars. And if we sell the candy bars for the same amount of money it costs to buy them, we wouldn't make any money. So we actually have to sell them for a little bit more, or there's no purpose on having a store except just for fun, I guess. But we actually do it to make some money and provide a service. So most places, wholesale is the amount, how much money it costs them to buy the product before they sell it. So a merchant, let's say the merchant is my family in the backyard, they bought an item at wholesale for $20. So let's say we were selling golden candy bars, okay? So we bought it for $20 and marked the price up 75% to sell them at retail. That's a big markup, okay? But if people find a value in it and they pay for that, then great. All right, what was the merchant's retail price for the item? So what we're going to do again is we do percent actual, okay, and original, change, and new, right? And so the original actual was $20, okay, and he marked it up 75%. Original is 100, so 175.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is figure out what the retail price is. That's this one. New is retail, okay? Let's write that off to the side. And original means wholesale. So wholesale tends to mean that it's cheaper, okay? So this is a markup, and we want to know what's in there. So we've got, I'll use R again. 100 over 175 equals 20 over R. What is our dog doing out there?
He's rolling
Rolling in the grass. Okay,
Yeah.
he's enjoying the sunshine. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that 100 over 75 because I know 25 goes into each of those. If I think of how many quarters are in a dollar is 4, and how many quarters are in $1.75, that would be 7. So I reduced that, and now I have 7 times 20 equals 4 times R. I'm going to divide both sides by 4, which is nice because 4 goes into 20 5 times, so that ends up with $35. All right, so we bought a $20 candy bar and sold it for $35. So guess what our profit is? Yes, it's $15. We made $15 for that candy bar. Okay, the rest is practice, so go ahead and make your charts and give it your best shot. Pause the movie and come back and see how you did. Okay, so regular price, but the item was on sale, so that means minus 30% off. Okay, so it looks like we've got percent actual, and it's 100, 30% off, which means we got 70% is the new, original, change, new. Okay, so the regular price was $24.50. It's on sale for 30% off, and what's the sale price? So we're looking for the new price. Okay, so I'm going to go 100 over 70 equals $24.50 over N. Okay, so let's go ahead and reduce. So now we do 10N equals 7 times $24.50. Okay, and I'm going to go off to the side and do $24.50 times 7 and see what we get. And 1, 2, 1, 2. So we get 10N equals 171.5. Then we divide by 10, and that moves the decimal over, so N equals $17.15 is our new price, and that seems to make sense. 30% off of $24.50 is now $17.15. So if you see something on sale for 30% off, that's actually a pretty good deal. If you were to buy something for that much, now you actually can buy it for that much. That's pretty good. Okay, the number of books in McKenna's personal library increased 20% in 1 month, so it went up. Okay, if there are 60 books in her library this month, how many books were in her library last month? Okay, so again, we're going to say percent actual, and same thing, original, and then it went up, so plus the increase, or change, sorry. All right, keep it the same. Okay, and new. So she was at 100%, and it increased 20%, so now it's at 120% of what it used to be. There were 60 originally, and now we want to know how much are in her library now. So let's go 100 over 120 equals 60 over N for new. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out. I'm actually going to do 5, 6. I reduce that fraction even more, 5, 6. So now we're going to say 5N equals 6 times 60. So 5N equals 6 times 6 is 36 with a 0. Divide by 5. And N equals, well, you might not know that, what 36 divided by 5 is. And so you can go ahead and do some math, and that's okay. In fact, I didn't either, so I'm being honest here. I don't know what 360 divided by 5. Sometimes it's quicker just to do the long division than try and figure out a trick, okay? So there it is, 72 books she now has. She went from 60 last month to 72 this month, and the McKenna, I know that's actually pretty accurate of a story. Okay, so looks like 2 more. Bikes are on sale for 20% off. Okay, so we're going down, and Sam bought one for $120. How much money did he save by buying the bike at the sale price instead of the regular price? So that is going to mean we have 2 steps here, and I'll show you what I mean. We have the original, change, and new. Okay, it's always 100% is the original, 20% off, so it's minus 20, and so now it's at 80%. Okay.
Okay, that is gross.
Oh, what happened?
Shadow grab that
What do you think that is?
gross thing. I don't know. It looks like his bone that's buried.
Is it a bone, or I thought maybe it was a dead squirrel?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay. Back to our movie. All right, we went out and investigated, and it is just an old rawhide bone that has gotten moist and unrolled. So you did not see a dead squirrel in my backyard, although that would have been more exciting. All right, let's go back to Sam. Sam bought a bike for $120. So he got a sale bike, right? Okay. So we want to know what it would have been if he didn't get it on sale. Then we have to find the difference, okay? So let's go ahead and set that up. 100 over 80 equals, original over 120, okay? And we can go ahead and cross cancel. That's an O. Let's not use an O. Do you know why? It looks like a 0, doesn't it? So let's just say X. So 8X equals 120 times 10, which is 1200. Now we're going to divide both sides by 8. Okay, so we got X equals, now you can just go ahead and do this division, okay? If you can't think of a mental math strategy right away, and that's okay. And looks like $150 would be what it was originally. Now don't box that answer, because that's not what the question was. The question is, how much did he save by buying the bike on sale? So it was $150, $120, so his savings is $30. So that's a good savings. You can buy a lot for $30. So good job, Sam, waiting for it to be on sale. Your parents must have taught you some financial responsibility. All right, the clothing store bought shirts for $15. So the merchant bought it for $15. That would be wholesale. And marked up the price 80% to sell the shirts at retail. What is the retail price of the shirt? So we got percent and actual. So this is one of those with selling products. So we're going to say wholesale minus the change, or marked up, plus the change. It's a markup. And retail is what you get after you do a markup, okay? So 100% was original, 80% is the markup, so now we're at 180% of the original. Okay, and he originally bought the shirts for $15. What are they all going to get sold for now? So let's make our ratio problem equation. Okay, and we can go ahead and cancel that. And also we know that half of 10 is 5, half of 18 is 9. So now we can do 9 times 15 equals 5 times R. Can divide both sides by 5 before we do anything else, and that's nice because that goes into itself once, goes into there 3, and now we have to do is 9 times 3. $27 equals retail. Okay, so they went from $15 up to $27, and that seems reasonable. So there is our final answer. These are fun as long as you don't get caught up in how long it takes to read the problem. Okay, and I will see you next